are caught in the middle, even though they didn't break any rules or laws.
Our Tim Becker went inside both factories and he sits down with their owners to find out how they're dealing with any fallout.
Keep in mind, Uroboros and Bullseye Glass were always in compliance with DEQ and EPA regulations, so they were understandably shocked when all of a sudden they're told they're under the microscope. And the aftermath of all of that, the last 6 to 7 weeks, have been extremely challenging for the company. So both are doing everything they can to just maintain operations.
Hey, what are we looking at in here now?
Well, this is the pilot bag house.
Both Dan Schwerer, owner of Bullseye Glass, and Uroboros owner Eric Lovell,
So this all fits within the genre of stained glass.
willingly opened their doors to us in part to help set the record straight.
The real frustrating part for us is that the media has turned it into a guilty until proven innocent sensationalism. And so the public has become unnecessarily frightened as a result of that.
Just the general public's perception that we did something wrong is really hard to live with.
Both owners tell me they felt completely blindsided when the Department of Environmental Quality shared heavy metal test results with them earlier this year.
A surprise to us, and it was the first time I became aware of benchmarks, health benchmarks.
Did you feel the same way? Did you feel blindsided?
Oh, complete surprise. I mean, we prided ourselves at Uroboros at being environmentally conscious.
Both art glass companies produce a rainbow of colors, pure and blended.
We probably have the most extensive colored glass palette in the world, actually.
Complexions and textures.
This is a heavily folded glass called drapery glass.
Glass that is fused and poured, mingled and baked, and here being whipped and splashed into wire-thin strands and streamers.
Our specialties are based on mixed colors. And that's what we do best in a small hand casting operation.
It is the lifeblood of the businesses that now have production cut by more than half since they volunteered to stop use of certain heavy metals while the DEQ creates new rules. Rules that both owners wish were in place to begin with.
We weren't breaking rules, and it's easy to say the rule should have been tighter now that we all have the information we have now. I mean, we are a different situation than Bullseye, and for us, you know, there have been no testing that demonstrates that conclusively that we emit anything that's detectable or excessive, even if you apply new rules.
Unfortunately, working with DEQ has not served us or the community well. For 30 years, we worked with them with a permit.
Schwerer testified before environmental quality commissioners last week, pleading for clear standards to follow. Guidelines, he says, lawmakers should have enacted years ago. Rules that would have prevented scenes like this outside his facility.
What was that like, and was that the first time ever that something like that's happened to you?
Well, yeah. No, it was quite debilitating, honestly. We've been getting death threats. We've had windows broken, eggs thrown at our facility.
Worse than that, both companies now find themselves facing financial setbacks and wondering what the future holds.
You know, I think that the grand era of decorative glass in the United States has come to an end, and there's a new era starting now that will be very different.
Lovell is now crunching numbers. Production at Uroboros is a third of what it was when the year began. And at Bullseye, they're completing production of their pilot bag house, a filtration system that'll allow them to use certain heavy metals again.
We just know the path forward for us is to get bag houses to get some kind of an agreement with DEQ and to be able to make the glasses that our clients need.
It's a costly investment in the future, one that the smaller Uroboros company hopes pencils out so it can get back to creating its palette of color, a rainbow the art world never wants to see disappear behind a cloud of DEQ regulation.
And it's a big risk and worrisome for employees and their families, and not to mention the families of the business owners.
This company's going to be all right when you have to pay for bag house and
I don't
get
know.
all the filtration
I
system?
don't know. I haven't seen final numbers yet.
Well, Lovell there tells me that too many things are happening too fast to have all the numbers and answers about the company's future right now. And Bullseye's Dan Schwerer wonders if some of their school programs around the world teaching children science through glass will ever start up again. A number of them have been canceled because schools, don't feel they should be associated with Bullseye at this point.